Добрый день, меня зовут Владимир Воротович, и я руководитель для новой мобильности в PTV Group из Германии. Повестка дня. Я буду говорить об мнении транспорт для Лондона и новая мобильность. Потому я говорю мобильность как сервис. Я also продолжал тематическое исследование Берлин. И в конце вопросы и ответы. Моя визитная карточка, контактная информация, номер телефона, электронная почта. Я родился в Сербии, и я учился русский язык в школе. Это моя первая визита в Россию. Потому я не говорил русский много лет. Я продолжаю в английском языке. Спасибо. Thank you. As I said, I have some important messages, information I want to transfer to you, and I wanted to make sure it's not lost in my own translation. Therefore, Ivan here will be helping me with translating. Also with A+S, who invited me for this conference, and ATI as well, which I thank them. We translated all the slides in Russian, so actually you will be able to see what I'm talking about in Russian language for your reference here. And I will let you sometimes to just read and digest what is on the screen. So there is a bit more text than what I will be talking about. Hopefully that's okay.
Раз. Всем еще раз добрый день. Соответственно, речь будет на английском языке, и мы будем делать паузы для того, чтобы все могли прочитать, если что-то будет непонятно. И, соответственно, я буду постепенно переводить.
Спасибо. So, as it was mentioned, okay, I will stay still. I joined PTV just start of this year in January. So I'm in PTV for 5 months, but I'm using PTV products, and both in Belgrade, where I studied as a student, in government of Belgrade, where I worked, in London, where I worked for 11 years at Transport for London, and all this basically led to me that over the experience I gained using PTV software, I can help in the area of new mobility and new mobility solutions, which I will be talking about today. So as I said, you can see 11 years at TFL.
Ну, соответственно, я начал работу в январе этого года в компании как раз-таки, как руководитель направления решения новой мобильности в PTV. И за все 11 лет своего опыта работы мы сейчас как раз-таки работаем в Лондоне, предоставляем полностью все наши полученные знания для того, чтобы внедрить как раз-таки в обучение наших студентов.
And I was asked also to look back and bring some experience from London to this conference as well, and then talk about how that basically moves to my job at PTV. So these are just some of the examples of my previous work at Transport for London. Just the highlights if you want. I led the team that built transport models, again using PTV, Visum and Visum products for the Olympic Games in London in 2012. I also with my team built the cycling superhighway models, and I have some videos I will show you shortly as well. I developed the modeling guidelines, Transport for London modeling guidelines, which are available for download, and that document became a reference for transport modelers both in the UK but also globally, how to prepare and develop transport models. And I can see that in the books you have, they're also being referenced.
Как раз таки на презентации можете увидеть примеры работ. В 2012 году, то есть опять же организовывали Олимпийских игр, и западно-восточную часть хайвеев тоже в Великобритании в 2015 году. Опять же с помощью программы PTV Visum. Все это организовалось с помощью программы. Все это организовалось с помощью как раз-таки учебного пособия, которое вы можете скачать, и, соответственно, благодаря нему это развитие транспортной модели произошло не только в Великобритании, но и, соответственно, по всему миру.
And you will see here in the last point, over the years, I was always pushing the development of software to address particular needs that we as a transport engineering community have. And this was the reason why then when PTV asked me to join them, I accepted, because I am now inside and I can influence the software that's being developed to answer the questions we have as engineers. And these are just examples of the things, and some of these things were mentioned earlier during the conference. And you actually have one of the booklets as well about mobility as a service, mobilnost как сервис, autonomous vehicles, real-time traffic models, etc.
Далее как раз-таки будет показана видеочасть, которая будет презентовать транспортную модель. Вот. И, собственно, так как все мы здесь транспортные инженеры, и мы понимаем конкретные цели и задачи, вот, и, соответственно, с того момента, как я попал в группу PTV в январе этого года, я как раз-таки получил возможность влиять на полностью разработку софта для этой транспортной модели.
So the first video I want to show you is really a special moment in any modeler's, any engineer's life, when you created something for a big project, and that's being shown, the output of your work, on a national news, in this case in the UK. So this is ITV News in June 2012, and this is Transport for London's model presented to the mass audience before the Olympics came to London. So if you can play middle video, please.
Big travel issues. Transport for London have created a computer-generated image of how traffic might look during the Games. The pictures show how roads in central London could look on Friday, the 3rd of August at 5 p.m. Olympic-related vehicles are highlighted in yellow. The images go...
So what is interesting, this is 25th of June 2012, and we show the model how the London will look like on the 3rd of August. And we had actually a comprehensive modeling suite developed, again using PTV products, for every day of the Olympic Games, the days before and days after, detailing how we're going to plan and operate the whole network with the Games in London. Now, the second video I'm going to show you is during the Games, we recorded from the CCTV camera one stretch of a road in London, and we put that next to a model we created beforehand to show how modeling and reality go hand to hand. So second video, which is bottom left, thank you. As you can see on the left hand side is the traffic simulation model. On the right hand side is the actual footage from the day 14 of the Games. Each of the days in your planning and operation of Olympic Games. These are the Olympic vehicles here. That's the Olympic lane. I don't know if you want to just say something.
Соответственно, для первого видео, которое было, это как раз-таки транспортная модель Лондона в период Олимпиады, 2012 год по август. Соответственно, была полностью переработана за несколько месяцев вся транспортная модель, и вы видите, как она сама работает. Вот. А второе видео было показана разница между транспортной моделью, которая была разработана, и той, которая есть в реальном времени. Вот.
Thank you, Ivan. And final video, just to show how I was pushing the development of modeling tools into really uncharted territory, is this video. So the last video, I will show you these three videos. The other videos also demonstrate other projects. Yes, please. Thank you. Now, this is interesting because we took Visi model and Viswalk model, so the traffic and pedestrian model. We then put the model into what is called gaming engine. So that's used as a platform, as a software platform to develop video games. I borrowed the technology from the entertainment industry, from the gaming industry, for engineering purposes. And then we put that into virtual reality. So what I wanted to show here is how it looks like if you are in the middle of one of our models. And in this instance, we are showing Oxford Street, which is one of the biggest shopping streets in London. If you go there, you're going to spend a lot of money. And we wanted to, Transport for London and the new mayor wants to pedestrianize the whole boulevard. So imagine your Tverskaya Street, for instance, and a mayor says, I want to be pedestrianized. That's the challenge we were facing. And in this instance, we are just showing how it looks like when you're walking through a PTV model in this instance.
Работает ли? Вот. На экране вы видели модель. Это Оксфордская улица, одна из самых больших. Одна из самых больших и по трафику самых интенсивных пешеходных улиц в Лондоне. И, соответственно, Решение мэра Лондона в данный момент как раз-таки является полностью убрать проезжую часть. И как раз-таки взаимодействие этой модели внедрили специальный игровой движок VR. И для того, чтобы модель работала, как раз-таки вы можете видеть, как это происходит.
And this is the final step. Then what I also wanted is to show how it looks like when you cycle through that model by connecting the cycle trainer into the gaming engine and with PTV Analytics into virtual reality. Because there is a big push, and it's not just in London, it's across the world, wherever I go and visit, of sustainable modes, of improving cycling infrastructure, improving the pedestrian space, which you are having in Moscow, I saw as well. So in this instance, it's cycling, and also what we created is you interact with the other agents in the model.
Ключевым фактором, который как раз-таки является отличительным в этой модели, то, что сами они могут взаимодействовать между собой. То есть, опять же, все велосипеды, все пешеходы, они сами между собой контактируют и, соответственно, подстраиваются.
So that's what I used to do and how I got to PTV. And now I'm going to talk about new mobility solutions, which is my responsibility in PTV, and also, of course, mobility as a service as a key component of my talk today. Just a few slides and one more video to show you what PTV is and who we are. And thanks also for the noble comments on not just somebody who is creating software, but actually somebody who is leading in thought processes associated to transport engineering, planning and modeling.
Далее мы как раз таки поговорим о моделировании, то есть о мобильной системе. Далее посмотрим видео и, соответственно, мы увидим как раз таки саму мобильную систему не только со стороны людей, которые ее разрабатывают как софт, ну и, соответственно, людей, которые им пользуются.
But one big news as well, and I don't know if you're aware, in September 2017, PTV was bought by Porsche Holding Company. So you see the Porsche Holding Company structure on the left-hand side for you. It's all the automotive brands that Porsche is owning. So Volkswagen, Porsche, MAN, Scania, Skoda, Fiat, Seat, etc. On the right-hand side for you, you see the PTV Group basically being owned by Porsche. So that's an interesting thing, that the software company that produces software for traffic modeling and transportation planning is bought by the company that has big interest in automotive. It just shows where the future is going and how the technology is advancing.
На слайде мы можем видеть, насколько то, что компания Porsche выкупила большую часть PTV Group, и, соответственно, как раз-таки это как раз нам показывает, насколько сама компания заинтересована в том, чтобы производить сами автономные средства.
Now I'm going to show you a video. It's in English. It's a corporate video. I don't think there is no need to translate because I will then reference some of the points from the video in my next slides following it.
The world is in motion. People and goods are constantly moving around the globe. Each day, new questions arise that challenge us to think ahead. Our software raises traffic management to a completely new level. By combining our network model with real-time data, we can model and predict the movement of every bus, car, and truck. This allows us and our clients to monitor, predict, and affect traffic. Building a comprehensive multimodal transport model that covers in detail all freight and passenger transport movements across Europe, that is the objective of Project Tri-Mode, initialized by the European Commission. At the heart of this project is our simulation software, PTV Visum. With Tri-Mode, PTV software is becoming the European standard for not only the movement of people, but also the movement of goods. Our logistics solutions optimize all aspects of freight, from route planning to fleet management. For a single truck, up to a fleet of several hundred vehicles. With our real-time solutions, companies stay ahead of traffic and are able to plan and optimize their operation, taking not only into account given restrictions and conditions, but also acute real-time incidents on the road. optimizing logistics services from strategic planning until the last mile to the customer. As we move towards a more connected future, new questions arise about the way we move, live, and interact. Together with OECD and world-leading companies from the automotive and digital sector, we participated in the Lisbon study, assessing the effects new mobility services will have on our cities. Based on the results of this pioneering study, we've developed software components to model, simulate, operate, and control mobility as a service operations. Mass fleet managers can analyze their business model and run their autonomous and shared fleets. Cities can set up an operation system integrating the new mobility services. Our network comprises leading international universities and research facilities, a renowned academic board, governmental institutions, and forward-thinking companies. With 4 decades of experience, both in traffic and logistics, combined with a startup mindset and located in the Silicon Rhine Valley, PTV has all it takes to answer your questions of today, tomorrow, and the future. PTV, the mind of movement.
So how we achieve this? We are a company with 800 people. We have 21 subsidiaries all around the world. So we learn a lot of what's happening all around the world. And that's why I'm also here today to hear from yourself as well. What are your challenges? What you're trying to solve? And then implement that in a software that we are producing. And also you can see the continents and all the locations of our subsidiaries around the world.
Окей, но опять же на слайде можете видеть все наши офисы и, соответственно, капитал, оборот нашей компании за год и количество сотрудников людей.
What is also interesting, just to describe, this is our software portfolio for traffic solutions. So we heard references and we mentioned Visum and Visum, for instance. We have other products as well for the traffic, and these are the teams that they are developed, so for strategic work, for planning, for operational, for control. And in a similar fashion, we also have logistics software. So a big portfolio of logistics software where we, again, in a similar teams for each of the pillars, we have different tools. And this is really important for new mobility solutions, and you will hear in a few minutes how.
Сказано до этого на видео то, что эра мобильности, которая сейчас идет, связана не только с внедрением транспортных моделей для пассажиропотоков, транспортных средств, но и для товаров, которые перевозятся. То есть, соответственно, все учитывается благодаря грузоперевозкам. И 2 предыдущих слайда. Первый показывал нам программное обеспечение, которое разрабатывает компания для решения в плане транспортной модели городской, то есть которое учитывает полностью весь городской транспорт, наземный. И следующий слайд, как раз, который сейчас видим, это программное обеспечение для логистических решений, то есть автотранспортные компании, которые могут его приобретать и им пользоваться.
So 2 slides to describe. This is how we pretty much currently and all up to this point we were thinking about use of modeling and planning for our purposes. So planning the city of today, the challenges we have, the elements of it, but things are changing and mobility is changing. So this is now the current situation really, which we have to reflect in our models because we are better connected nowadays. We have different ways of considering how we're going to move from A to B. We have concepts of car sharing and ride sharing. Again, I read a little bit about it in the note that ATI released today, Mobility as a Service. And of course, young people are now changing their mindset with regards to the ownership of cars and living in a city that's becoming more and more congested with more people and air quality is dropping. So we need to rethink a lot of things in our life with regards to transport.
Так как сказано было до этого, эра мобильности привносит вообще кардинально новые изменения, и, соответственно, происходит смена ценностей. То есть люди все больше задумываются о чистоте воздуха в городе и, опять же, замене бензиновых двигателей на электрические. И, опять же, как вы видите на слайде, весь программный продукт, который связан с мобильностью PTV Group, относится не только как раз-таки к каршерингу, такси, и новым способом связи и способом добраться от точки А до точки Б. Вот.
So this is where my new role is explained in a slide with three themes, three topics that I'm looking at. The first one is the real-time traffic modeling and management. The second one is the topic of today, mainly mobility as a service and the program we call Mass Accelerator. And the final is how we're going to represent autonomous and connected vehicles in PTV software. Our philosophy here is very simple, in my view. We take the components, the tested and proven and used components from different PTV software for both traffic and logistics, and we improve them and create mobility solutions. So the solution I'm going to present to you is brand new. It's called Mass Modeler, and next few slides will explain how we created it and what it's used for.
Сейчас на слайде как раз-таки вы можете видеть основные составляющие по решению новой мобильности. Это прежде всего, опять же, моделирование и управление транспортными средствами и мобильность как сервис, о котором мы сейчас говорили буквально пару минут назад. Вот, и, соответственно, внедрение автоматизированных транспортных средств в промышленность, то есть постановка их уже прям действительно на конвейер, чтобы их становилось гораздо больше. Вот, и ключевая философия данного решения, данного продукта, маска, как мы говорили до этого, это все-таки соединить логистическую и транспортную модели для того, чтобы достичь максимального результата.
So, okay. Okay, 5 minutes.
Oh, 2.
You show 3.
Okay.
I know Russian. Lisbon study. I will go now. There are a few more slides just to show you. So this was referenced in the video, and I will move straight away to what was the scenario that basically the mobility scenario that they wanted to test it in Lisbon, and this is the result. In simple terms, this is what would happen if all of the Lisbon demand will be replaced with just 2 means of transport: taxi sharing or car sharing and public transport. How many vehicles will Lisbon need for the whole demand to be serviced in the city like Lisbon? So basically the answer is, as you can see, 10% of vehicles are needed in that hypothetical scenario where nobody is basically using private transport. If you don't mind, I'll go through the few slides and then maybe you can just summarize it because we don't have much time.
Можете видеть на слайде, было проведено исследование в Лиссабоне, что будет, если весь транспорт, больше 100% будет заменено каршерингом или такси. То есть по факту людям необходимо на самом деле только 10% всего транспорта. Остальное идет на личное пользование.
The news were not good because the increase in vehicle kilometers across the network was very big because the vehicles were going left, right and center. So it was great from one side but not from the other. But then there was another test, another scenario where those buses in the middle were introduced. So you have taxis that do ride sharing, you have marшрутное taxi, and you have the public transport. Now you only need 5% of vehicles and results improve in both vehicle kilometers traveled and the impact on emissions in a city like Lisbon.
Если убрать долю каршеринга, то результат вы видели сами на экране, то есть он еще меньше, то есть 5%.
And this was really how we decided as PTV, because our analytics was used for the Lisbon study to create the Mass Accelerator program. Again, you will receive these slides, and that's why we translated the elements, so I don't have to go. And Mass Modeler is the first component we developed. We don't have the other software yet developed. It's in process, because we want to understand what's happening in transport and mobility in order to replicate. So Mass Modeler is a solution that takes the vSoom component and our logistics route optimizer component that's actually done as a cloud solution and combines the two, and I have architecture slides to create the Mass Modeler platform. Sorry, Ivan, just 2 slides. And then, so these are just why you would need that and what you would try to achieve with it. In a simple term, this is where would you use modeling to test, do you have a valid case, business case, to deploy mobility as a service, ride-sharing services, car-sharing services in any city. And prerequisite for that is you start from a VISU model and then you use this solution to progress. Yeah, okay. I guess if there are any questions, more detailed questions during the lunch break or afterwards, I'm happy to talk more. I mentioned you need Visum, and we have number of Visum licenses, actually more than 10,000 licenses around the world. So that shows, and you have also Visum in Russia, in Moscow, there is a model, etc. So it's a great starting platform to build and test the mobility as a service. I'll skip these slides. This is the mass modeler, and basically this is the key slide, how these new components for new mobility work together. On one side, you have the Visum, as I mentioned, the X server, which is the tool that, that PTV developed for logistics to optimize the delivery of goods. And we simply said, right, instead of delivering goods, how about delivering people to the right location? And we created Mass Modeler. This is how it works. It's a very straightforward process. You take the output from the Visum model, you set up the parameters for mass service that you want to test. You run number of scenarios because you can change the parameters, and you will see that now. And then if you want to, you can see the outputs as a dashboard, or you can actually go through Visum and you can simulate the whole mass service. These are the parameters. Again, it's translated. You will get the slides. There are many things. Just this slide will take me 10 minutes to explain. But this is how it looks like when we tested in Karlsruhe, which is the headquarters of PTV. So the color of the vehicle indicates that vehicle, how many passengers it has.
И, соответственно, цвет автомобиля показывает, насколько много пассажиров внутри.
And same thing we done in Berlin, but this is an interesting story because in Berlin public transport operator teamed up with private sector company ViaVan, which is owned by Via, which is the ride-sharing company from the US, and Daimler-Benz, which is famous Mercedes, to create ride-sharing service. They use our software to come up with the business case, which will result in a deployment of ride-sharing in Berlin this summer. And these are the numbers they're going to deploy in the first instance later in the year and next year. This is how it works, and it's very straightforward. I know in Moscow you already have car sharing system. It's very similar. Just instead of you taking a car and using that car, you're reserving a seat in a vehicle that will take you from A to B. And this is the area they're going to deploy. Again, this area was determined by using PTV software, where the most valuable ride-sharing service will be out of whole of Berlin. And this is again how the simulation looks like in Berlin with ride-sharing. And you can actually see red and green passengers, which is the green one are the ones that are hailing the service and are being serviced, and red are the ones that the request has been rejected. So the whole system can be simulated with ride-sharing, and this is the study area. And final slide, you'll be happy to hear. ViaVan, it's already actually running in London and Amsterdam. In April, Transport for London, where I used to work, issued a license to ViaVan for ride-sharing, and about a couple weeks ago, a month ago, I used it in London, and it was an interesting experience. It was an ex-Uber, by the way, car, and I can talk later if anybody's interested what's happening with Uber in London. They're operating in Amsterdam, and as I showed, they're going to be in Berlin. This is just now other examples where you can use the concept of ride sharing or servicing the different things, the different transport needs that people have. Again, on-demand fleets, school buses, hospitals, optimizing how you're going to transfer children from home to school, how you're going to help people who need to have a hospital appointment, non-urgent hospital appointment, etc., etc. Sometimes you can do that just using Mass Modeler, but for some of the wider demand considerations, you also feed back information if need be in Visum. And that's it. Thank you. Спасибо.